Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today. Right now, literally as you sit watching this, there is an invisible, escalating digital war happening all around us. It's a battlefield that doesn't use tanks or artillery, but lines of code, deceptive emails, and compromised passwords. I mean, we're all heavily reliant on the internet for communication, banking, shopping, work, and this digital environment is marked by an intensifying battle between cybercriminals and those defending against them. So today, we're going to unpack exactly what this battlefield looks like and, more importantly, how you can build a robust digital shield. Here's a quick roadmap for our explainer today. We'll be covering 1. The modern cyber threat. 2. Anatomy of an attack. 3. Enter the ethical hackers. 4. Small business security. And 5. Your personal cyber defense. Let's dive right into Section 1, the modern cyber threat. 600 million. Think about that for a second. That is the staggering estimated number of cyber attacks happening worldwide every single day. Just let that sink in. Financial gain and data theft are the primary motivations behind most of these attacks. The scope of this problem is absolutely massive, and threat actors are constantly, relentlessly developing new, sophisticated ways to cause trouble in our digital world. But look, this isn't just some big number floating in a vacuum, right? It has a devastating personal reality. Consider a recent blog post by Stein Financial Group regarding a massive data breach at a company that supplies personal data to investigators. The quote reads, 3 billion records were part of this hack. When a client's personal information is stolen, it affects them financially and deeply emotionally. It often becomes the sole focus of their lives as they desperately try to fix the damage. This is the very real threat we're facing. Moving on to Section 2, Anatomy of an Attack. Okay, so cybersecurity experts at Huntress have identified a whopping 36 distinct types of common cyber attacks. But to make that a bit more digestible for us, we can group them into 4 main categories. First up, malware. Think of this like a digital gremlin sneaking onto your device. Second, phishing and social engineering, where the attackers trick you into doing exactly what they want. Third, network attacks, which go after the actual connections between computers, kind of like jamming a Wi-Fi signal. And finally, vulnerability exploits. This is basically like finding an unlocked backdoor in a software's code and just sneaking right in. Let's zoom in on 2 of the absolute most damaging types, starting with ransomware. The crucial point you need to understand here is that ransomware literally holds your digital life hostage. The attacker locks users out of their devices, rapidly encrypts their files, and then demands a payment, usually in some form of cryptocurrency, to restore access. They might even threaten to publicly release sensitive data if the ransom isn't paid. It causes paralyzing system downtime and, quite frankly, maximizes fear. And then, of course, we have phishing. While ransomware attacks your files, phishing attacks your mind. It is a digital con artist. Attackers will send emails or messages pretending to be a reputable source, like your bank or maybe even your manager, all to trick you into revealing personal info or clicking a malicious link. Rather than exploiting a technical flaw in a computer system, they're exploiting human emotions like fear, trust, and urgency. In fact, phishing and social engineering are consistently listed among the top concerns for IT professionals today. Section 3, Enter the ethical hackers. Now, the impact these proactive defenders have, it's absolutely massive. Drawn from a comprehensive academic review on cybersecurity, a full 40% of the cybersecurity incidents they successfully stop in their tracks are data breaches. And that's followed closely by ransomware at 25%. By actually mimicking real-world attacks, ethical hackers are finding those weak spots and stopping these devastating enterprise-level attacks long before they can be exploited by the bad guys. And, because of that incredible success rate, the industry has really caught on. Back in the 80s and 90s, hacking was mostly basement-dwelling teenagers driven by curiosity. Even in 2015, formal adoption by organizations was under 10%, but by 2024, it has absolutely skyrocketed to nearly 75%. Ethical hacking has evolved from a niche activity into an absolute strategic necessity for organizations of all sizes to maintain a proactive security stance. So, how exactly do they pull this off? Well, it's through penetration testing, utilizing 3 main methodologies. In a black box test, the hacker goes in totally blind, simulating a real-world external attack. In a white box test, they have full knowledge of the system, we're talking source code, credentials, allowing for a deep, thorough internal examination. And gray box is right there in the middle, mimicking an insider threat with limited access. By systematically mapping out these scenarios, they lock down the vulnerabilities before the bad guys ever find them. Section 4. Small Business Security. Now, you might think cybercriminals only go after those massive global corporations, right? But the reality is the exact opposite. Small businesses are actually 3 times more likely to be targeted by cybercriminals than large enterprises. Why is that? Because adversaries know that while small businesses hold vast amounts of highly valuable customer data, they often lack the vast resources and robust defensive shields that larger enterprises have. They're basically viewed as easy targets for extortion and data theft. And the cost of being an easy target? It is utterly devastating. $3.31 million. According to CrowdStrike, that is the average cost of a small business data breach in 2023. It is not just a temporary hiccup. It is an existential threat. In fact, a recent survey showed that 35% of small business owners stated that a cyber attack would likely or definitely force them to close their doors for good. The loss of operational efficiency, intellectual property, and above all else, customer trust is just too much to survive. So what's the plan? How do small businesses fight back? Well, here are 3 concrete, empowering steps. First, deploy endpoint protection, like managed EDR, to get full visibility and automated protection on all your devices. Second, human error is a massive vulnerability, so you absolutely must train your employees on how to spot phishing and social engineering. And third, keep all software up to date. Attackers absolutely love exploiting known vulnerabilities in outdated software. Taking these steps maintains your operational continuity and protects your single most valuable asset, your customers' trust. And finally, Section 5, your personal cyber defense. All right, bringing it closer to home. When it comes to your personal devices, the threats are incredibly sneaky. Think of them through these really great metaphors from the Huntress Threat Library. Beware the digital pickpockets, a type of malware known as info stealers. They just quietly sit there in the background of your computer, gathering up your passwords, your browsing history, and financial info without disrupting your system at all. And beware the modern wooden horses, Trojans. These are disguised as legitimate, beautiful gifts, like a free software download. But once you install them, they open up a hidden backdoor to your computer. Your personal data is constantly being targeted by this deceptive software. But listen, you are not powerless here. This is your personal digital shield in 4 critical steps. Step 1, use strong, unique passwords. Your dog's name followed by 123 just doesn't cut it anymore. And definitely don't reuse the same password everywhere, or you're going to fall victim to credential stuffing. Step 2, enable two-factor authentication, or 2FA. This requires a second piece of info like a text code before granting access. It acts as a massive roadblock for hackers. Step 3, secure your home Wi-Fi with a strong password and encryption, and please avoid doing sensitive banking on public, open Wi-Fi. And Step 4, back up your data regularly to a cloud or an external drive, so if ransomware ever does hit, you don't lose your precious photos or files. So we've covered the staggering scale of the threat, the brilliant work of ethical hackers, and the essential steps for businesses and individuals to protect themselves. But all this information is really only useful if you act on it. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative question to ponder right now. Look at your own habits, your own passwords, your own network. Are you leaving the front door to your digital life unlocked? Take a few minutes today to upgrade your security habits. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and stay safe out there in the digital world.